when we do them to the news transmission, and then it'll just be extended. But as news breaks and develops, we will cover it all. Okay, let's go to your calls. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231. Please make your point. I'll attempt to be brief so we can move on to the next person to get everybody on board here. Carl in California, thanks for holding. You're on the air.
God bless you, young man. I've been listening to your show for about 2 years now. May I have just 30 seconds to give credit to a group here in Southern California? I call it Babylon 2. to thank you for waking us up here. We pray for you every day, Alex. We want you to continue this fight. We're passing out your CDs. It's a fantastic group. It's an Adventist group here in Southern California. We pass out the DVDs and the CDs at our market night. And I got together with them, and they awakened me. They got me to get rid of all my worldly ways, to give up listening to the media, to get rid of watching anything that the national news and so on and so forth tells us lies every day. And we just love you, man.
Well, Carl, we appreciate you as well. Overall, it's good to unplug from television, but it's good to monitor the propaganda. I don't watch sitcoms or dramas, but every time I do, it's the meth head in the show that abuses children is a Ron Paul supporter, or the libertarian is a pedophile, or the person that wants national sovereignty wants to murder people, or the person that is concerned about the Federal Reserve is going to release nerve gas in New York, or the person that is concerned about chemtrails is going to shoot children. It's everywhere. And so we've got to remember the brain-dead public, either folks are totally starting to wake up or they're getting more deep under mind control. It's kind of that split is happening. And we have to remember that it is getting more and more overt. And so it's good sometimes when I'm tired or don't want to do an extra broadcast or don't want to do another radio interview or don't want to really put in the midnight oil. All I've got to do is turn on the news or really turn on entertainment. That's where the real propaganda is, because they know folks are in an area of suspended disbelief and are very subconsciously open to be programmed. You watch it, and it's like something out of some high-tech brainwashed future. It is so ridiculous.
Absolutely. Chemtrails was the first thing that I noticed. And the group told me, look out in the skies early in the morning. You'll see a nice, beautiful blue sky day. But do you notice, when's the last time you saw the sky to stay blue the rest of the day? Now, from the fall of last year to the spring of this year, horizon to horizon, they shot the chaff all the way across the sky. And then I was waking up people say, hey, did you notice that? Do you know what that is out there? That's aluminum, strontium, barium, and other type of poisonous gases that they're releasing on us each and every day. And the people just, were dismayed and didn't believe it. But I've been trying to go around on a crusade here in my local town.
Well, good job, Carl. We got to jump to get to other folks, but that's exciting. Look, for those that are new listeners, 17 years ago, starting in about 95, before I was even on air, I got on air on Access in 95, people were saying, are you seeing how the jet trails don't go away now? And pilots and people I knew were saying they must be dumping their fuel or something. This is weird. And they're forming at low altitudes even in the summer, and it's forming these hazes. And look at the chemicals. And then by about 12 years ago, different scientists would go up on their own aircraft and capture some of it. They would test the soil. They said it's barium salt, strontium, aluminum dioxide. This is some type of weather modification. And then 2 years ago, the first speech, the head of the science czar, of all science operations for DARPA, you name it, that's what Holdren's over. The guy that says put stuff in the water to sterilize the public, world government, exterminate people, a very, very wicked person, but he's in line with the rest of them, and so that's why he's put in that position. He came out and said, yes, there's been a 15-year-long program, so that's now a 17-year program. And he even mentions the Nobel Prize that the scientist won, I think it was 92, for coming up with a plan to spray these things in the atmosphere to save us from global warming. And some people say that when they did all those high-altitude nuke tests, it blew holes in the ionosphere and that they're trying to fix it. I don't know the truth. All I know is the old-timers went and did the test, made films, went on record, said it's barium salts, aluminum dioxide, got called crazy, and then the government comes out and says, yeah, we've got secret programs that have been in the testing phase. We're getting ready to go operational with geoengineering. It's terraforming the planet to the way they want. And it's secret, the details, but we are spraying aluminum dioxides, barium salts, other things. Exactly what the researchers said. Exactly. And see, it was always hidden in plain view. It was about 5 years ago, a caller called and he said, you haven't typed in high-altitude aerosol, passive aerosol spraying campaign? And I said, no. And he said, yeah, I just found this. And by the way, nobody had found this stuff. It was a caller found it. I put the call out, looked it up on Google, and it was all these universities and Department of Energy and everybody involved with the UN admitting worldwide weather modification test and that they were manipulating the weather. And so for 5 years, you know, we've talked about it. And a couple years into that, John P. Holdren came out and said, yeah, it's all true. We're doing it for your own good. Details are classified. And that's what I mean. They just go, yeah, we got space planes. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're spraying stuff in the atmosphere. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we created some human clones. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we crossed them with animals. Don't worry about it. Folks, Dancing with the Stars, American Idol, this is not what matters. We are in a very, very strange position right now with very crazy anti-human people running things that are jacking with our food, our water, the vaccines. We're all in this together. 99.9% of people are not aware of this who are outside of these circles. We've reverse engineered the information and covered it. But we are living in a science fiction movie. We are living in a false reality. If you're tuned into the mainline information on the news. All right, let's go to Pastor Lonnie in Tennessee, then John, Chris, James, John, and others. Go ahead, Pastor.
Yeah, I got one question and 2 or 3 points real quick. Did you happen to see on July 13th the simulation of oil supply disruption?
I did hear that the government was working on that with oil companies, but I didn't really read deeply into it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was on C-SPAN July 13th, but it's been playing quite a bit lately. Basically, they dealt with what Lindsey Williams was saying with $200 a barrel of oil. They're saying the processing facility in Saudi Arabia, Abqad, I think it's pronounced, the #1 largest oil process facility.
Yeah, I've got to pull that up. In fact, somebody took my pen out of here, probably me. Somebody will run me a pen in here. Somebody steals the pens out of the studio to begin with. I don't really mean steal. I mean everybody borrows everybody's pens. Thank you, Jaron. I did see that a few weeks ago, so why don't you give me the name of it again? What, the Simulated Oil Disruption Program of the Department of Energy?
Yeah, it was called the Simulation Oil Supplies on C-SPAN 1. And it dealt with Stuart Eisenstadt, Susan Schwab, Steve Hadley, John Negroponte, John Hoffmeister, CEO of Shell.
Yeah, what they're doing is they are, just like they had meetings 8 years ago on C-SPAN about how TSA would be on the streets of America, they get all the CEOs and people together with government, and then government people do watch C-SPAN to actually know what's going on. You can learn incredible things from there. And now they've built a technological grid under the Department of Defense and DARPA that designed our highways in the 50s, the entire system. And now they have us dependent on the grid so they can start turning it off. Do you understand how wicked this master plan is?
Oh, yeah, I got a little bit more on that.
Well, tell me what they said on the piece. I saw blurbs a month ago or 3 weeks ago on it, but I didn't look into it deeply. Pastor, tell us more. Then John, Chris, James, John, and others. If you want to support what we're doing here, support the new TV show that'll grow into a network. If you support it, prisonplanet.tv. Aaron will be on tonight at 7. Okay, let's try to hurry through your calls now. Pastor, finishing up the point that watching the oil shortage simulation on C-SPAN. Go ahead.
Yeah, basically there's a bunch of Bush cronies in his administration portraying the Obama's cronies in their administration, which there's no difference. But they basically dealt with the credit downgrade. They talked about hit on this oil processing plant, trying to link it to Al Qaeda and stuff like that. And basically just they had GNN, the global news network, and everything portraying it while they sat there and portrayed it in segments. Pretty interesting. It really shows them really pretty much admitting what's about to take place this fall. Other quick point to London, if you read 2nd Ezra and the Apocrypha, it talks about in chapter 15, 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And just the whole chapter of 15 of 2nd Ezra talks about the whole Middle East, the riots that are about to take place globally. And the last and final point I'd like to make is I know you guys are pretty educated, you and Anderson and Bob Chapman and them talking about gold and silver, but I just want to give you a critical thing to think about. The Bible also says...
They will throw their gold and jewels out in the streets and beat themselves on the head, right?
Well, no, not necessarily. No, that's in the original, in the Old Testament. But in 2nd Ezra, it talks about to be its pilgrims as an earth. Don't occupy merchandise, because strangers will reap their fruits, spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and captivity and famine.
Listen, Pastor, I appreciate your call. We need to try to make good financial decisions so that we're not poor and so the system can control us. I mean, if you want to get into Christians aren't supposed to be doing well, what about the prodigal son? What about Abraham? I mean, it just, my whole issue here is it's good to give people advice on gold, and they've done very, very well with that. Thank you, though. John in Texas, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, welcome.
You know, I want to talk about these weather weapons, Alex. Right now, I think we're under all-out attack. I mean, we've had record floods, record tornadoes, record storms. Right now, we're in the middle of a drought, and Texas is burning us to a crisp.
Well, if you pay Al Gore some money, he'll make it stop.
But right now, nobody wants to talk about it. I mean, no pro.
Well, they do have. I mean, over in Dubai, they've put up the different HARP systems. That's Daily Mail, Associated Press. Well, you guys put up Dubai turning the desert green. It'll show the antenna farms that when the water comes across, they hit it and make it turn into condensation and rain. They're turning the desert green with that. So, yes, the U.S. government that developed all this could be making it rain right now. Bill Gates has patented a bunch of it. He's obsessed with it. I don't know if they're currently causing this drought. We had a really bad drought in the 50s here in Texas, but it is an incredible drought. I mean, it's like living here in Austin. You go outside, it's not like the desert. There's like dead trees everywhere and dead grass everywhere, and it just looks like some apocalyptic world, and it's only getting worse. We got 2 more months of incredible heat, but I remember being a kid in Dallas and it being 112 degrees, so 3-4 days in a row at 107. And by the way, the guys found the article for prisonplanet.tv viewers. If you scroll up, you'll be able to see the antenna arrays. Anything else on that front, John?
Yeah, I was up in Michigan at the end of June, and we had a horrendous rainstorm. And when it was over with, my mother's house looked like it was sitting in the middle of a lake. And she's 82, and she told me, she said, I've never seen this happen before. And I said, Mom, you better hang on to your hat because it's going to get a whole lot worse.
It is, and the globalists will say, pay us a global carbon tax. We'll make it all go away. We'll be right back. The news couldn't be weirder. Man arrested by TSA with Fourth Amendment on his chest. Says constitutional rights violated. Putin finds ancient Greek jars while scuba diving. And you say staged? Unbelievable. Sony is making a classified bin Laden death raid movie illegally with the president, and there's calls for investigations. They've also changed their official story, saying the SEALs were sent to stop fleeing Taliban, not rescue Rangers. I tell you, they just script all this stuff. We'll be getting into all of that news and more. Here's another story. Drudge report drives more traffic than Facebook and Twitter combined. Absolutely. But right now, let's go ahead and go back to your calls. Chris in California, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Alex. I wanted to say, long-time listener, a first-time caller. You do a lot for everybody out here, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I wanted to say, first off, I got an email from my girlfriend this morning. She's an HR manager at a large outdoor construction